Do 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 do. Sing along, Leader, right? Australians all let us rejoice, for we are young and free. And wait, is Golden Soils next, EliteAri?
I have no idea. I haven't sung that since I was a child.
She was back
overcame
this
my
episode,
nationalism.
EliteAri. She was back.
Oh my god, she was. Did she sound Australian to you when she spoke?
I didn't recognize it until they showed her face, EliteAri, so I failed the test and everything.
Unbelievable.
There's we're all fill in the audience. What are we talking about right now, EliteAri?
So the great
Millie Alcock was
Princess
back.
Rhaenyra.
Yes.
Yeah.
And she's Australian. She was born in Sydney, EliteAri. That's where you live. Spoiler. I mean, doxing. I mean, ooh. You know, I hate Sydney, EliteAri. I hate you, New South Welshman. Hold on, EliteAri. I'm Googling to make sure she was born in Sydney. Say something.
I have not. I recognized her voice immediately.
No, you didn't, you fucking cuck little pussy.
I did. It was instantly. As soon as Damon walked in, I was like, oh, it's a blonde lady. And then she said something. I was like, oh, okay. That's who the blonde lady is.
Fuck off, loser. No, he didn't. Her name's actually Amelia Alcock, known professionally as Millie Alcock, is an Australian accent. Oh, and because nobody understands the bit we were doing, that's the Australian national anthem I was thinking, just singing chat. And me and EliteAri were Australian too.
Yes.
She was in some Foxtel comedy she got an award for, and this ain't telling me where she's from, EliteAri. Oh my god, 24, Sydney. She's a year older than me, EliteAri. So I don't have to be insecure that she's rich and famous, and I'm not.
She's very curious, Kyle. What was... Kyle, you tweeted something out, and what was that in reference to? I'm on the edge of
Oh my god, great. You're so smart, EliteAri. So let me bring up the exact tweet. So give me a moment, EliteAri. You know, it's twitter.com/nationofenter, you know, the great Twitter account. You go to the thing, in bio says Radfrem. There's some Mushoku Tensei retweets. Ignore that. I soyed, guys. I soyed very much my queen. That was my tweet, EliteAri. And of course, I was talking about the great Millie Alcock.
Okay, interesting.
Now, the funny bit, EliteAri, that we were doing last time was that, there's like 15 queens that we all love in this show. Queen Helena, my queen. Queen Alicent, I nearly said Olivia. My queen. Queen Rhaenyra after last episode. Emma Darcy is the greatest. And then, of course, we have the original queen, Rhaenyra, who we're talking about right now. And I'm sure there's another queen somewhere. But they're all perfect, EliteAri. Best characters in the show, all of them. And so my tweet was funny because it could have been about all of them. And also I sent it to EliteAri before I even watched the episode because it doesn't even spoil anything because it could mean anything. But we're going to talk about all that when we get to it, EliteAri. I just had to open it. Oh, EliteAri, you know another great idea I had for an intro?
No.
I was going to say, hey, EliteAri, do you like cock?
Oh, I understand. Very funny.
Because it's like her last name and stuff. It's fucking hot in this car, EliteAri. I need to stop saluting. My hand was over my chest when I was fucking singing. But anyway, House of the Dragon Season 2, Episode 3. Oh my god, I got that right. I second-guessed myself for a second because, you know, it could be Season 3, Episode 2. One day we'll be back with that one, EliteAri, in about 2 years' time. It's going to be crazy. You're going to know so much. But really, you're going to know so little. Now, my first note here, EliteAri, Advanced Australia Fair, and you like Alcock, EliteAri, true. Now, I didn't want to write you like cock, EliteAri, in my notes, because I'm like, what if somebody sees my notes?
Yep. But
It's
also,
possible.
I did not have any reaction when I saw her. My only thought was like, oh yeah, they brought the actor, okay. I don't know. It didn't stand out to me as a scene. I didn't have any reaction whatsoever. I didn't even think it was a particularly interesting scene. The stuff
greatest
afterwards
moment in
was
the
way more
history of
interesting.
cinema.
All right,
Shut up, EliteAri. We'll get to that. Now, I was just very excited, EliteAri. You know, I spent all of last week trying to make a scripted video about such things that never came out. So I was particularly cocked and ready.
Indeed.
That was a pun and a penis joke. You know, to be blown away by this fantabulous moment. But anyway, EliteAri, this is the part where we do overall thoughts.
Oh, you want me to start?
Mm-hmm.
So I have a complicated relationship with this episode, okay?
Let's
so I started watching, okay? I got through the majority of the episode and I was like, why am I watching this show? I was like, you know what? I've enjoyed the past. Like I love season 1. I think I've loved the past 2 episodes. But this one I was like, I feel like I'm just seeing a bunch of scenes that are collected together that I'm just not that particularly interested in it. And then I thought I might actually drop this show. I was like, I truly like, I don't understand because I remember when I was watching Game of Thrones, I was very invested in it. I was like, oh, I'm interested to see like where these long lasting like storylines are going to go. I'm interested in the mystery of the White Walkers. Like, there's a bunch of intriguing elements, right? In this one, there's like one central intriguing thing, which is like, what's going to happen with this Iron Throne? Like, what's going to happen in this big war? But I feel like of that big element of the story, there's no like little sub branches that I'm really that particularly invested in. So I was a bit like, I don't know what, like I was, this episode was like, I don't know if I can handle this in the long term, you know? And then like, I don't know, there were a few good scenes that won me back. And I was like, you know what? I understand why I like this show. It's because of the interesting scenes that we get. And like, I guess the ones that stand out are like when Damon goes to Harrenhal and he talks to that guy. I don't know who he is, the guy who's in charge of Harrenhal, but isn't like the lord of their house or whatever.
He's the Castellan EliteAri, of course. You understand?
Yeah, that was really cool. I like that scene a lot. Then we got the cool Damon vision stuff, whatever that is, his dream with the weirwood. I'm assuming weirwood tree. That was really interesting. And then of course we got the scene at the end where Rhaenyra is sneaking in, and this is like one of the coolest things I've seen in the show. It was so fun. So yeah, you know what? The show won me back basically. But I was on the edge. I was like, oh, I don't know. I don't know if I can handle the show. But it won me back.
You know, everybody, EliteAri, clinically retarded, as we all know. Big idiot. Obviously, this was the greatest episode of all time. Maybe it was better than last week's episode. Probably not, though. But it was still pretty great. And also, that Damon scene you like is it's on like the 20th minute mark, so you're a liar.
Okay, yep. So that means it's mainly the first 20 minutes that bothered me, I guess.
And we'll see exactly what that was, because I don't remember it all off the top of my head, so I'm going to figure it out when I go through my notes. How about that?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, whoopsie. So, EliteAri, of course, we start off with one of these miscellaneous scenes. Now, EliteAri, you bring up some interesting points, you know, if you're a pussy. And it's sort of something I've been talking about the whole time. What are we going to do with these battles where it's just like a bunch of people that you're really not going to know? Are we going to spend a whole episode on each battle like we don't at the beginning of this episode? Because we got to introduce these characters in order to care about it or whatever the fuck. So I guess, you know, I predicted this potential problem. And then also we've got some scenes where we're introducing characters. We've had a few in the previous episodes. Of course, we've got EliteAri. Who have we got?
Wait, what? Who am I naming? Every
Alan
character?
and Adam, you know, the brothers.
Oh, yes, I remember them.
And then
Which
Hugh.
we didn't see this episode, right?
Yeah, we didn't see any of them this episode. But then we got another fella in a bar that we focused on for a little bit, who is supposed to be the...
I don't even know what that is. I thought that was the sword guy like we saw last with a sick daughter, but apparently I'm guessing it's someone else.
No, that dude's like really big and wide, and this dude just looks like a little bum.
I figured that out by the end.
You're very smart. And he's talking to a Dornishman. More on that later, EliteAri. There was one other character that was introduced this episode, right? I'm forgetting EliteAri. I guess Allison's brother, but that's not.
There was the guy in charge of the Harrenhal place.
Yeah, I guess
the lady behind him with an American accent. It was crazy.
Shut up, EliteAri! Why'd you spoil it? He's so stupid. I just have a big bit. But anyway, so yeah, and last time I was like, well, we kind of just cut to Hugh's family, and nobody's going to know who that is unless they have Kyle Entertainment telling them in the review they do the week before, like what's happened with EliteAri. So yeah, they have done some weird little thingies. I feel like it'll pay off in the end, because I think a lot of the earlier bit is on like the sisters, which I'm assuming a lot of people really don't care about. Which sisters am I talking about, EliteAri?
I was trying to piece it together. I don't know. I thought you were going to keep talking and I'd piece it together. Damon's daughters?
Damon's daughters.
Oh, Damon's daughters. Okay, yeah.
Bayla and Rayna?
Yes.
It's not Rayla, EliteAri. I messed that up that first time. Now, so yeah, they're doing that. But obviously they're going to be bigger characters later, you know. So this is the legwork, EliteAri. Except for the Blackens and the Blackwoods, who we open on, EliteAri, and they're all dead. Crazy.
Yeah, and thank God you reminded me last time who they were, because there was no chance.
They just don't even like each other, EliteAri. They're really mean.
Yep.
Now, cool. who is the famous Blackwood that you love? Oh, go ahead, EliteAri.
Wait, is there a famous Blackwood I meant to love?
Yes, from the original show.
Blackwood.
He's old. I
can't think of anyone. Oh, the three-eyed
Blood Raven, of course, EliteAri.
Yeah,
You're
Blood
just
Raven.
so smart.
Okay.
But anyway,
thank you.
What were you going to say before that?
I was gonna say this is I don't know if like maybe House of the Dragon does this every time, and I've just never pieced it together. Or maybe this time it was just hitting me over the head with how much they were doing it. That this episode had a theme, Kyle, about how like no one knows what starts war; it just starts. Um, Crazy.
Kinda. I don't know if that's the conclusion.
Kinda. That was no, that wasn't a conclusion. That's the idea it's exploring, right?
Well, yeah, but I think we'll talk about it more later.
All right, yeah.
There's also a very big, now this is a big thing in the whole show, EliteAri. It's about sexism and stuff, and men and women and stuff. And that was definitely a big thing throughout this episode. I have notes on it, EliteAri. So it's got like multiple themes, EliteAri, greatest show of all time and everything. Now, EliteAri, it is interesting because we will get some other... Let's talk about caring, making an audience care about something, EliteAri, the big topic, and I have all the answers, At some point, EliteAri, the fucking Tullys are gonna fight the Baratheons or some shit, and we already have some, some inbuilt investment in these weird names. Well, maybe you're gonna go, no, I don't. I don't care about these people. They're different from the great Catelyn Tully and Robert Baratheon. Kyle Entertainment, you idiot. But I feel like this is definitely a thing that happens in fandoms. You got these Harry Potter idiots with their houses, and they are my favorite house is the Ravenclaw house. So if some fucking idiot shows up in some spin-off thing in some video game and he's a Ravenclaw, he's my guy, I love him. Just like the Starks, right? This fucking idiot from the first episode was the biggest loser I've ever seen. I hated him, but everybody loved him because he was a Stark. So with the bigger houses, that's kind of already there. The Blackens and the Brackwoods, my favorites. Did I say? Yeah, I think... You know what I'm talking about. Anyway.
I do.
So there's kind of Bloodraven is a Blackwood, but nobody knows that. Plus, they kind of changed Bloodraven completely in the show. I don't even know if they called him Blood. I think they did. But then they told you he was 1,000 years old or something, which is impossible because he shouldn't even be born in this point. Or he's not born in this point of the fucking thingy. He's only supposed to be like 100 years old when Bran meets him. So they were changing things there, and that was a little weird. So maybe even from the show universe, he doesn't even exist. So even that potential caringness is deleted. They have tried to tease it in the show. It is a bigger thing in the books, like every time, like these Blackens and the Brackwoods, they hate each other, and the Starks and the Lannisters, they hate each other, and the Freys and EliteAri, your favorite house, the Darys, they hate each other. This is a big thing in these books. So it's like a rivalry that's said a lot, and the first season did a lot of legwork to try and reintroduce like book motifs that the show never really had, and that was one of them, and the language was another one of them, and all these things. So they have tried, like in because remember the little Blackwood dude killed the Bracken dude when Rhaenyra was going around looking for a boyfriend. So that kind of sets it up. I think there was one other hint in a small council scene later in season 1. So they've kind of tried to do stuff there, and then they had an opening scene here where it's like, well, maybe you like the guy who's going to stand up to the mean Blackwoods or something because he had 3 lines about it. And plus, they just used it for a cool match shot, and they didn't actually show the battle and waste too much time on it, and it just was like, man, now they're all dead. Look at that. That's crazy. There's lots of bodies, and war is bad and stuff. And then they do reiterate on they've just been fighting each other forever and forever. So in terms of this one thing, I think I'm understanding, EliteAri. I think the conclusion of my monologue here is that this is how they're probably going to do it. Because I don't think... This is the first battle of the war, so they had to include it. It's between these 2 houses, so whatever, and we don't have a lot of stuff in it when we're getting to the Tullys and whatever, next episode or whatever. So I think I understand EliteAri is what I'm saying. I'm a genius, and I've figured out how they're doing it, and this will probably be the weakest one they do, and they didn't even really do it. Yeah, following?
So you're saying they're going to build investment in the upcoming battles by seeding small details throughout the whole show?
No, they're going to do it by saying this is a Tully.
Okay. Okay, sure. Yeah,
but I think we are going to meet the Tullys because they should have some scenes. But
well, I think all you need, if you want to do a battle where you got to be the audience is invested, you just need one character on each side. You like that's it. One character that's named and you've slightly
or even just one
you
like and one you dislike, right?
Yeah, something like that. As long as there's like one character you can follow on each side, I think you're good. There's not much. Because... Even in this one, like at the beginning, you got these 2 kids or 2 young people or whatever, where it's like one is for Rhaenyra and one's for Alicent. It's like, oh, okay, they're gonna fight now. Like I was invested. Well, one of them was bullying the other one, but the other one called him like a baby killer or something. I was like, oh, I get it. All right, I'm invested.
So, well, I thought you said you hated it, so I don't know, EliteAri. How about you make up your mind, pussy?
I was invested. I wasn't. I didn't. I don't think the battle element is what was lacking. It wasn't like I wasn't invested in
It's
them
those damn
fighting.
sisters.
It's like
Okay,
the,
EliteAri, we
you know what
understand.
it is? No, if you want me to explain, what I mean is that just because there's like this scene where I'm like, yeah, this was good. I enjoyed this. I enjoyed seeing the battle. When I see it, I'm like, what? But why am I watching this show? Like, how? Like this to me doesn't. I see a scene like this, and I'm not like, oh, okay, this is indicative of like the rest of the show. It's just like this is one scene that I think is interesting. And there's a bunch of scenes in this that I think are really interesting. But the general direction of the show is not something I'm very intrigued in. Um, I guess. Like
I
there's not
guess
like okay, what I'm saying is like when I think back to like season 1 of Game of Thrones, and it's a very vague memory because it's been so long. But I feel like there were multiple interesting storylines that I was invested in. Like there was the stuff going on in King's Landing. There was the stuff going on with the oh my god, what's her
the
name? The
wall.
Tully
Oh, Catelyn.
what's her name? Yeah, Catelyn. Yeah. There was the stuff at the wall, but I don't remember caring about that
Because
at
it's
all.
fucking lame and nobody
Um,
likes the wall shit. True, White Walkers are
yeah,
lame.
there's stuff with Daenerys. There's like a variety of different interesting storylines that I was kind of invested in.
Yeah, I think we
Um,
talked about that a lot in the first season of this show, where it's like, well, it's really just the King's Landing plot.
yeah, but I really liked it last season. And even now, I'm not like it did win me back with a few of the things going on here, but I don't know, maybe it's just caught up to me. Maybe I'm one of those people, Kyle, who's like, oh, I guess this single story isn't intriguing enough for me. But we'll see. We'll see how this goes.
I guess the other thing would be, well, who's gonna die, bro? And if you like the characters or not being invested in that.
Yeah, sure. Yep.
Well, are you? I'm asking a question here.
I think it entirely depends on the characters.
Kristen Cole's gonna
I
die next episode of Lear. Are you gonna cry?
I
I
don't
would
know if any
cry.
character could make me cry here. I was invested in the in Kristen's here. Like the
Hmm.
scenes with him. I am liking him. I think the most like without a doubt the most invested I was in the final scene in this where you have Alicent and Rhaenyra. So I guess those two characters, their relationship, I am very invested in. Um, I don't know how long that'll keep going for. I don't know. I feel like Alicent is not going to be long for this story, but maybe she will. But
Think Allison's
yeah, I'm
gonna
very
die,
invested.
bro?
Well, I feel like this is more a
I'm
as
a
far as I
bad guy now.
understand, it's wait, what do you mean? Who's
Well,
the
I
bad
thought
guy?
that's what you were gonna say. This is Allison's. She doesn't care anymore, bro.
No, I feel like this is more the Targaryens fighting themselves, and I feel like Alicent is not a Targaryen, so I feel like she's not going to be that big of a deal, like for the later part of the story. I would assume,
It's
even
kind
if
of a
she's important
Targaryen.
now,
Probably legally.
not at all, right? I mean, yeah, okay, she's married a Targaryen, right? Or
Well,
like,
not
I don't
anymore.
even know if they got married.
That bro's dead. They definitely got married.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That she's not a Targaryen in any way. Maybe by name or whatever, but not really. So I feel like it's not her story. But we'll see. Maybe she'll be a big deal till the end.
I think it's safe to say Allison's probably going to be a big deal until she dies or the end of the story, Illyria. But,
Amen.
oh, I had another stupid thing for this Blackwood and Brackens thing, Illyria. Next year, Illyria, we'll be converging for the great Dunk and Egg Game of Thrones television show, which will be happening at season 1 between the season 2 and 3 of this television show. We'll see if Illyria wants to watch it. You know, apparently maybe he doesn't care. And in that show, Illyria, Bloodraven will probably actually be a character because it'll be set 30, 40 years after this. About 100 years before Game of Thrones, bro. And the Blackwoods and the Brackens will be in that show a lot. So it's also seeding ground
Epic.
for that. How smart, Eliteary. You know, there's not just meta narratives and setup and payoffs in this show that's paying off from the last show, but we're also doing future shows, Eliteary.
We love it.
Just so smart. I'm very excited for Dunk and Egg. What do you think Dunk and Egg is about, Eliteary?
I know we talked about this at one point, maybe
Oh.
even in the prediction video that was lost, but I don't know. It was like about like someone and his brother or something. I don't know.
Oh, yeah, the guy from the Wall's brother, Eliteary. Crazy.
Yeah.
I have trepidation written down here because the Bracken guy was a little scared, but then he stood up for himself. Crazy. Way too many bodies for the skirmish, Lamau, is what I said. You know, me, these are just two little houses, Eliteary. There's no way they had that many people, but maybe, I don't know. That's just me being funny. Well, I guess we'll bring this up here, Eliteary. They are Riverman Bannerman. Did you know that, Eliteary? They're in the Riverlands, both these houses. Of course you did, Eliteary.
Of course I didn't.
Well, they bring
I feel
it up a
like
few times in
I'm
the
just
episode, but
I'm just a bad fan of this show. Okay, I don't know the details here. I know that one had a like a horse on his like emblem, and
That's
the
the
other had like
bracken.
something that wasn't the horse.
A
And I
werewood
was like,
tree with
okay.
some crows on it, EliteAri. Imagine that. The three-eyed crow's got some fucking crows on his fucking house, bro. That's crazy.
Mm.
But it is a weird. Oh, EliteAri, the Blackwoods, you know. Now, I guess we'll bring this up. Oh, I'm bringing it up now, EliteAri. So, EliteAri, there's kind of saying, why do these two guys fight? Crazy. There is kind of an answer, EliteAri. Now, they're not going to explore this in the show, so this isn't a spoiler. But the Blackwoods, EliteAri, something very special about them is, you know, the Riverlands is part of the South, EliteAri, not the North. But these Blackwoods, EliteAri, they worship, they're only Southerner house to worship the old gods. Now, isn't that crazy and cool and stuff? And Bloodraven's from there, and he does brand time-traveling powers. Oh my god, it's all fitting together. But the answer is probably that these are some sacrilegious fucking heathens from the north that are down here, and the Brackens are not going to take it no more. That's probably where the fighting started, EliteAri.
Okay.
But that's just a little detail. You know, I love my little details, and now you're going to remember that forever. Now, also, getting back to the point, EliteAri, they mentioned Grover Tully's name. Did you pop? Were you jumping?
Yeah, they did, and I was like, excellent. This is exactly as I predicted. I am a genius. They mentioned it. I was on the edge of my seat. I'm like, are they going to say the Elmo name or whatever?
Because they did. Because I don't think they say it in this scene. I think they say it in the small council scene. And the first time someone mentions him, they say Lord Tully again. And I'm like, these fucking cocks.
Yep.
And then one of them actually said it. Yeah, Grover Tully can't even shit himself or his dick doesn't work. That fucking iron rod dickhead, boring ass motherfucker said that or something. But yes, no mention of Elmo Tully. But now, I always said Grover Tully would make it, EliteAri. That sounds like a real enough name. Old Elmo Tully, we'll see. We'll see if we're introduced to Elm Tully next episode, perhaps. What's the blue one's name, EliteAri? Because that's the other one. Or is the Grover the blue one?
The Cookie Monster.
No, his name is not Cookie Monster, EliteAri.
He's blue.
Grover... Are they Muppets, EliteAri? What the fuck are they?
I don't know. Yeah, I think
Grover is the blue one, you idiot. They are Muppets. Now, Grover is a blue Muppet on the... Oh my god, he's from a HBO show too? This is crazy, EliteAri.
The Cookie Monster is way more blue than Grover.
He is. Grover's more of a dark blue. I think it's Ernie Tully. Because, you know, Bert and Ernie.
I mean, that's fine. That's
Ernie
like
works,
better than Elmo.
But not when Ernie's hanging out with Grover and Elmo.
Oh, you're saying Elmo also exists. Okay.
Elmo is absolutely exists.
I have no question that they're going to adapt these names if they got brought up. I don't think they're going to change any names here.
The fact that they also own Sesame Street is fucking hilarious. Now, hold on. I've got the Tully fucking thingy up. You got Grover. No, oh yeah, there's Elmo Tully. Kermit Tully, Elmo Tully's fucking son, EliteAri. We're not making this fucking up. I can see it. It's Kermit Tully and Oscar Tully. Oh my goodness, I'm fucking dying. And then if you scroll down, we've got Hoster Tully. You remember Hoster Tully, father of Catelyn Tully?
I do remember that.
Lysa Tully and Edmure Tully, who married Rosalind Frey. Remember that event when Edmure Tully married
Rosalind? Like pretty or something?
Yeah, that was the red wedding you were supposed to say, EliteAri, you idiot. But anyway, that's all crazy and stuff. Robb Stark's down here. Sansa Stark, we love that. Married to Tyrion Lannister, remember that, EliteAri? We've got Arya Stark. Brandon Stark, he was like the winner in the end. Can you believe that? Anyway. That was it. Oh, and then I have the link to the Westeros wiki page of the battle, EliteAri. Now, these are fucking sick. Now, you're not allowed to click them because you're a loser and you haven't been spoiled to everything. But that you bring the thing up and they've got like which houses were on each side. House Targaryen / Blacks, and then it's got House Blackwood underneath. Then House Targaryen / Greens, and we've got the Brackens underneath. And then we've got the commanders, Lord Samwell Tully, just like Samwell Tarly, EliteAri, and Amos Bracken. Crazy. But like later it's going to get really complicated and there's going to be like 15 lords under each thingy. And that's crazy. Ooh, EliteAri, I've scrolled through these wiki pages many a times. Now anyway. There's like a whole thing about who killed who and something, but the show cut that out, so we don't have to read it. Moving on from the Blackwoods and the whoever's, EliteAri. Burying the twins and Jace being lame. True, EliteAri. They buried the twins and Jace was being a little whiner. We hate Jace, right? He's annoying.
I kind of like Jace.
It is dumb face.
I did think that later on the Squire that Aegon was moving around was Jace. I was like, what's happening here?
Yeah, now that you say that, EliteAri, he did look like him a little bit.
Yep.
And then I have Rainy's bad acting down, EliteAri. That was crazy, huh?
I don't even know. Yeah, I didn't notice anything. Nothing ever
So
stands out
she's
in the
talking to
show as bad
Rhaenyra,
acting.
and this wasn't even a language thing, EliteAri. This was like a delivery thing, even worse. But she's talking to Rhaenyra as they're looking at the corpses, and this is when it's first brought up, like, Alicent, maybe if you reach out to her, we can do a thingy. But I don't know. Something
Yep.
she said here, I clocked it as bad acting. Now, I didn't write down any lines and stuff, but I remember she's saying, like, I don't remember what the fuck she was saying, EliteAri. It was a long time ago. And then I rewatched it, and it's been like an hour since then, so... and then they bring up, EliteAri, your favorite theme. When did the war begin? Was it when Aemon killed Luke? Was it when you killed a baby in its bed? Was it when Luke took the eye? Was it when Daemon was passed over for Rhaenyra? Was it when Rhaenys was passed over for Viserys? Was it when this fucking piece of shit Jaehaerys, the old king, decided to disown all of his daughters? My goodness, he's just a prick.
So, I guess the answer is there's no answer, but of those options, it'll probably be the Daemon one, right? Where he's like he got passed over as the
Yeah, they didn't even bring that
because
up.
because of a potential misunderstanding, but also might not have been a misunderstanding. Like that's probably where it started.
Because of Otto scheming, EliteAri.
Yeah,
I feel like the most satisfying answer is Otto being a prick.
I find the Daemon thing pretty satisfying. It depends on I don't know how this story ends, but I guess hinting. I also don't know because we get the scene with Daemon in the tree, and me as someone who doesn't know where this story is going, that makes it feel like at the end of this story, like Daemon is going to be the last person to die in this whole thing, and the story is going to come down on like the answer that it was all his fault at the beginning because he said the thing in the bar or whatever, and this is what all led to this moment. Like him and his not arrogance, whatever it is, like where he felt like he deserved this when he didn't. He was like a rotten person who never deserved it or something. That's kind of what that scene implied to me, that this is all Daemon's fault. And maybe even Daemon's feeling guilty about it. Like he sees the kid that he had that Rhaenyra was sewing the head on for. But this again, all this stuff with the tree or whatever that we're not really talking about yet. It could just be like literally a Harrenhal thing next episode and Daemon dies next episode. But to me, it felt like a really important, like this is the end of the series. Like this is where Daemon's life is leading and the whole story of House of the Dragon is leading. But I don't know. Anyway.
Typical Daemon bias, thinking he's at the center of everything from EliteAri,
yeah,
Doctor Who fanboy. EliteAri, I love it when the shoe's on the other foot, you fucking speculating little bitch. Haha. I know how Mushoku Tensei ends, that's you. Well, guess what, EliteAri, I know all the answers for this one, and that means I can't comment.
All right.
But EliteAri said some interesting things there, chat. Were we giggling under our little voices here so he couldn't hear, or were we mocking him? Were we laughing at him? Crazy. He'll find out one of these days. And then in like 10 years, he'll re-listen to all of these when he's vaguely remembering the story, and he'll be like, Anyway. Rhaenys plants the idea of the Alicent meeting to Rhaenyra. Oh my god, I said that, EliteAri. Hot D decides to kill misunderstanding. Oh, this is kind of a theme throughout the episode too, EliteAri. Basically, anything that could have been down to misunderstanding besides Daemon stuff was like all addressed. Like, Rhaenys here brings up the scene that she had with Alicent before she left, where she was teetering on going to Team Alicent, and then like she says that to Rhaenyra, and then later the misunderstandings between Rhaenyra and Alicent are ironed out. That was pretty crazy. It is interesting because it like sort of defeats that crutch of leaning on that as sort of a plot point of like the war wouldn't be happening if they just talked to each other, EliteAri. But part of the point seems to be that it was inevitable and there's too many players and it's like a powder keg, EliteAri, ready to blow. We'll get to that later, EliteAri. Now, so that was pretty cool. Rhaenys tells Rhaenyra about her and Alicent's... Yeah, I already said that, you fucking idiot. But that's all I have to say about that scene. And I know you don't got anything to say about that scene, EliteAri, so I'm not even going to ask. Now, EliteAri, most of these notes are chronological, but I think here we start doing a little bit of nothing because I'm talking about Aegon, my king, EliteAri, my king. Nah, he's kind of a little whiny this episode. You know, he's a bad guy and stuff.
But also, he hasn't snapped yet. He hasn't done anything insane. I'm on the edge of my seat when he's going to do something over the line.
I have it written down, yes. We'll get to it. Aegon has his friends in the Kingsguard, and they suck. Did you notice that, EliteAri?
I did.
And Kristen Cole is not very happy. He's like, this motherfucker's sitting down rather than standing guard. I'm going to kill him later. You know how that Cole fella is, EliteAri. We're not talking about chastity yet, EliteAri. Cole and Alicent's weird farewell. Alicent's brother recasting ? So believe it or not, EliteAri, we saw Alicent's brother in the very first episode of the show, and we didn't actually see him because he had a helmet on, because he goes up against Daemon and Daemon knocks him off his horse, and then he like flips off Otto, and Alicent clutches her like necklace or something. If you go back and watch our very first video, I'm sure I brought that up. He used to be, I think, commander of the city guard, and then Daemon replaced him or something. Or maybe he was just captain of Otto's guard. I don't know. Anyway, he probably should have met Kristen Cole before, because Kristen Cole would later beat Daemon in that tournament, Illyria. Remember that? That was sick. But yeah. But here he is. Gwyneth something. Gwyneth Hightower. Gwyneth. What was his name, Illyria?
I have no idea. He came out of nowhere. He seemed like he had no purpose, and I don't know. I didn't understand why he was involved in this storyline with Kristen Cole. I'm sure there has to be a grander plot thing here where it's like Otto is making some play through him or something, because otherwise I don't understand what his motivations are at all. And I guess I'm not meant to know at this point.
Well, I don't know about that. He likes his sister. You know, he's been summoned by Aegon, like all of his lords have been to King's Landing. He came ahead of him. Also, it's supposed to be a funny, haha, this is my boyfriend, but you're not allowed to know that. But he also doesn't like, you don't like my boyfriend because he's a little low birth little pussy. So it's sort of the weird playing off the weird whatever Cole and Alicent have, which is even weirder in their farewell. That's not very emotional at all or heartfelt or anything. And they don't like break their characters where they're supposed to like, they're pretending that they're not a thing, but even when they're alone, they're pretending. It's weird. They're weird. And then the favor thing, when he asks for a favor, is also weird and weirdly demanding. And you're like, isn't she the queen? Shouldn't she tell him to fuck off? But then, like, does he actually like her? And he cut his hair, EliteAri. Crazy.
He did, yeah.
Now, that was in the trailer, so I already knew that. Now, there was a point I was building up to. Oh, also, it's very much a weird plot device to make Cole seem like a good guy, because he's kind of the protagonist of this storyline now. He's dealing with this idiot brother that he has to like look after, who seems to be trying to fuck up when Cole actually knows better. Which is interesting because Kristen Cole, obviously EliteAri, the most hated character in the show. These normies, they do not like him. Twitter do not like him. But the show seems to not want you to hate him too much, which is interesting.
I think, and this, okay, again, I could be missing something. You know, I'm not the most attentive viewer of House of the Dragon, but he was a bit under the weather, right? Today, when in his first council meeting as Hand of the King, he was kind of
he was late.
Or he was a bit like, he was late. To me, it seemed like he wasn't really happy to be the Hand of the King, which was kind of interesting.
Well, he didn't ask for it. Also,
I know he didn't ask for it, and also last time it seemed like this is like something he did not seek this at all. It's just like when Aegon gave it to him, he was kind of bewildered. He's like, oh boy. And now to see him kind of struggle with it a little bit I kind of like that. It was interesting. Yeah.
And also, Leary, you're supposed to laugh in my face because what I said last episode wasn't true.
About what?
I said that this basically means Alicent is Hand of the King now, but then he was like contradicting her at the table and said, on the wall, fuck you, bitch. And that's why she's kind of mean to him later, or, well, not really mean, but not as loving as maybe she should be if it was her actual boyfriend. Also, he's got a weird Hand of the King necklace instead of a badge, leader. Isn't that weird?
That's pretty cool.
Oh my god, I thought you were going to say I didn't even notice, but he did.
I know I didn't notice, but now that you say it, that's pretty cool.
Oh, it's got like, it's like
nothing,
hands
right?
connected. Yeah, it's weird. Go back and look at it, EliteAri.
All right.
What else here? We kind of brought up all my notes individually, so I'll read them again and go shut up or something. He's annoying, which positions Cole as the good guy. We're talking about Gwaine Hightower, EliteAri, not Gwyneth.
That makes
He's a boy. Oh, and then we get what I call here, because again, we're skipping ahead a little bit. We got the trailer chase in the woods, EliteAri. In this trailer, they're all running away from dragons to the woods, and it's really cool.
That was sick. I love that scene. Oh my god.
Baylor, EliteAri. She's got a dragon called Moon Dancer. Thank you, subtitles. Once upon a time, I knew that, EliteAri.
Yep.
Anyway, she's like supposed to be doing, I don't know what the fuck she was doing over there. She's supposed to be keeping an eye on King's Landing, but they're supposed to be a little bit further from King's Landing. But anyway, she was there, EliteAri, and she spotted them, and she was told to stay away,
sick.
But she really wanted to get close because she's cool and stuff. But then they escaped into the woods. Now, she could just light it on fire, but that could be dangerous and stuff, and, you know, maybe not the best idea. So she didn't.
Wait a minute. I feel like there's no hesitation for it being dangerous. Like I think she'd be happy to do it. I just assume that it's because like what she said later, where she wanted to kill them, but it's like at the same time she's like, well,
My queen told
if
me
I
not
kill them
to.
here, yeah, they're gonna know that I like caused this fire and it's gonna be a big thing, and I'm not meant to, so I'm not gonna do it.
Well, I'm just
I don't
saying,
think she really
Leary,
cares about the danger of it.
when I watched
Yeah.
the normies later and they complained about her not just setting the fire to the woods, this was me overcorrecting for that.
Right. Okay.
Okay. But yeah, it was pretty epic. You know, there were a lot of cool like reaction thingies in this episode when they first see the dragon. It's really cool, and Chris and Cole runs away, and he said, and then he has a line later where he's like, "And no fucking ends," and he says it really cool, and I'm like, Chris and Cole, my king. God,
I just love the way it was like the chase, the way it was directed,
shot,
like the speed of the dragon and everything. Oh, it was so good.
It dove down like crazy. Imagine riding a dragon, EliteAri. Seems crazy. Anyways.
Yeah.
He isn't doing what Alicent wants at the small council. Oh my god, we talked about this. War begins. War needs to begin, Cole says. Grover Tully mentioned. Lannisters are coming, EliteAri, as the Lannister dude pointed out. Old Town and Daeron are coming, EliteAri. He's got a dragon and stuff. Crazy. But they're a few months away, they say. But, EliteAri, Rhaenyra can get to King's Landing in an evening. So, you know, if I was a big YouTuber, I'd be complaining about time stuff right now, EliteAri. It took Stannis like 3 weeks to get there or something. He needed favorable winds, and he told Davos, we'll be there by moonfall. And that's when the episode ended. And then the next episode was Battle of the Blackwater, EliteAri. Coolest episode of all time. I wonder if we'll... They could create one. You know, in these Fire and Blood books, EliteAri, not a lot of time is spent on these battles. Obviously, in these Song of Ice and Fire books, EliteAri, when you get into the Battle of the Blackwater, you got 2 Sansa chapters, and they're interrupted by 2 Davos chapters, and there's 2 Tyrion chapters, and oh my god, all these different perspectives on this battle. It's going to take up half a fucking book. This is epic, greatest thing of all time, storytelling. There's actual characters. Whereas in Fire and Blood, it's like, and then the Battle of the Whispering Wood happened, and Lord Summon coming, and here's a host of 40,000 men who kind of crossed this way, and then they lost, and crazy, and then...
Well, did they depict the crab fight or whatever with the?
No, that's like
triarchy?
3 lines in the whole thing. The triarchy is nothing. But even then, what I'm thinking of is, are we going to have a big whole episode battle? And I can't think of one that would really like be that, but they could very easily do it. But also, there aren't that many battles where it's like too much of a convalescent of characters. But all the big like fight scenes that everybody's like looking forward to are dragon on dragon. Is that a spoiler, EliteAri? Crazy. And so you can probably spend all that Battle of the Blackwater money on 2 dragons fighting in the air. How do you make that too interesting? You know, in the original show, they did that for about 2 minutes and then decided it was boring. And that the night...
They also did it for 2 minutes at the end of last season, and that was like really cool. But
that was cool.
If it went,
that was more one-sided.
If it went longer than that, I don't know.
True, yeah. It's so much like you got to hide in the clouds, and then you can get the jump on him, and it's a jump scare, and then, like, I don't know. But anyway, we'll see. We might see next episode. Spoiler! Anyway.
I was convinced that the last half of this was going to be like a Harrenhal fight, because everyone's like heading there. I'm like, okay, this is going to be like they're all going to fight here.
Not quite.
Aemon's going to show up, because I'm convinced that like Daemon, and I don't know why I'm thinking Aemon. I think maybe something you said
we
last
talked about
time
this
or
last
something.
time, and it's because they have a stare down in season 1.
Oh yes, that's right.
Because Jace tries to punch him.
So for some reason they're gonna
work.
meet at Harrenhal. They're gonna fight there. I don't know. I think, and I also predicted that Aemon's gonna get killed by Daemon, because Daemon is like the Wait, no, or did I predict the other way around? I don't even know actually. I don't know which way it's gonna go. But I feel like Daemon has to survive because of this big prophecy thing we saw, or not prophecy,
Daemon
but like
will
this
die
dream
here.
thing. Yeah, but that's in the long distant future, right? Not next episode.
When he's an old man.
Yes. Sorry,
like the
keep
old
going.
man from the prologue. It would all come full circle.
Which they mentioned this time. Over Rhaenys did. No, was that her name? Oh my god. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, Rhaenys
Yeah, it
is a
is.
character, but did she mention...
Oh my god.
Oh yeah, the Conciliator, and you should do that. I think I skipped that scene when I was writing notes. Thanks for reminding me. Lannisters are coming, Old Town is coming. I'm more fearsome than any of them, Aegon proclaims to his small council, EliteAri, and they all kind of reach for their drinks.
Yep.
That was funny. And then I have a note here. Both mothers are fighting to keep their sons at home. Rhaenyra is like, no, Jace, you will not do anything. Stay here. And then Alicent is also like trying to convince Aegon not to go, and then she's trying to convince Aemon. Aemon just has to stay here, guys. He's got to protect the city. He's got the biggest dragon. He just has to stay here with me. And obviously, I have another note here. No mention of Helena fighting ever.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't happen in the book, so it's true to that. It's not like I'm like they're cutting something, but
Mm-hmm.
we've never seen. I don't. Yeah, maybe we have seen Dream fight. Yeah, I think there's one scene where like in episode 6 of last season, EliteAri, all the little
That
kids
was a
go to
good
the
one.
dragon pit, and they see Dreamfire, I believe, and then I don't know if they mention that's fucking Helena's dragon, bro, or it's just like somebody could get it, because we've never seen Helena fly a dragon. Is my point, EliteAri, and I don't know if we will.
Okay.
Crazy, we'll see. We got to save money somehow. But if push came to shove, would she have to help protect King's Landing? Who knows? But it's just like Rhaenyra. They never even try to, like, she never even says, well, maybe I'll go fight. And then they're never like, no, you shouldn't fight. But Baela's allowed to do, no. Baela's allowed to do things, EliteAri. I got it right. Anyway. Small councils and stuff. Sea Smoke EliteAri is restless. He's flying around places. He's screaming and stuff. That's Laenor's dragon, EliteAri. Laenor's alive or something. Now, that's crazy.
Yep.
We're teasing. I think they're trying to make you to think about Sea Smoke, EliteAri. Maybe something's going to happen there.
Okay.
Missaria wants to be at Rhaenyra's court. Seems to be the Varys character. Well, you know what I mean, EliteAri? Varys was actually a good guy who just wanted the stuff for the small people, and that's what Missaria seems to be. But she's also a secret spy girl.
Well, it is, yeah, I guess, yeah. She would be the Varys kind of character. But it's like, Laris has got the
Varys name.
No, well, he has the Varys name. He also has the Varys, competency. I think he's more competent than this, at least what we've been seen demonstrated. He seems very competent. I don't think he's ever slipped up in anything. Whereas the girl, I don't know what her name was, but she obviously failed and got cast out and everything. So to me, it feels like if anyone, Laris would be the Varys, because Varys to me was more capable than like anyone else.
Well, no, Littlefinger kind of always got the better of him because he was willing to be more ruthless.
But in the end, Varys lived longer.
But he did just get killed.
That is true, but
that was the first scene of the episode where everything went truly bad.
I was gonna say, like, I didn't want to make the argument. I was like, but that's the show, the show, the book, I don't know, it's bad. But
well, Varys is just evil in those fucking books, EliteAri. He's killing people, and stuff, literally.
Yeah. Why I shouldn't be? Let's not even talk about Game of Thrones.
True. But we definitely are when we get to those dreams, EliteAri, because I want to see fucking Bran. Now, anyway.
We're not seeing Bran.
Shut up, pussy. I have an even crazier one that I want to see, EliteAri. We'll get to it. One's to serve a cause she believes in, one that could revolutionize. Well, she's like, well, you would be a better ruler for the little people. And, these men, fuck them. Women power. What do you say? Female power? Girl power, EliteAri.
Okay, yep.
Also, EliteAri, she uses pliancy in this one. Did you have to Google that?
No, because I also assumed that it just meant something was pliable, which means, like, you can bend it or whatever. And I was like, oh, okay. Now, am I completely wrong? Did you Google it?
I did Google it because it's, like, pliant is a word I've heard before, and that's, like, to appease. So if you're bendable to somebody, trying to be like, yeah, kind of works or something. I don't know. Leave me alone. I Googled it and didn't write it down, but I did Google it, so I could be recalling it incorrectly. Anyway, EliteAri, this is your least favorite thing of all time. Rhaenyra is leaving. All the kids are leaving. Joffrey is going to the Eyrie. And her boy...
Oh, they mentioned Joffrey, yeah. And we saw him, right? Crazy. No, wait.
We've seen him in, like, every episode since...
No.
Episode 6
Well, they mentioned him for the
season.
first time ever, and I couldn't believe it. I was convinced that you made up this character just to troll me, and I was shocked that they mentioned it.
It's definitely mentioned all the time,
This is truly
too.
the first time. I could not remember a single time where they mentioned this name.
Remember last episode when we had a close-up shot of Jace holding him?
No, not at all.
Crazy. But he did hug his skinny mother, EliteAri, and say, Mommy.
Yep, true. Oh, so that was him. Okay.
You're supposed to laugh every time I bring up the skinny mother thing?
No, it's been overdone. You've said it like 10 times.
Aww, I even said it in Mushoku Tensei.
Yeah.
I'll bring it up next episode, EliteAri. It'll be funnier than ever. Now.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, and then... So, EliteAri, get this in order. All right? You're listening. So they're going to take a boat to Gulltown, which is right outside the Erie. It's like their little port city, where Littlefinger used to be from a little bit. And then they're going to go up to the Erie, and they're going to drop off Joffrey and his dragon, who's kind of a little dragon, but he's a little boy, so maybe he could ride it or something. Because those Erie idiots, Jane Erie or something, who I think is also a little girl, I can't remember, or she's a widow, because it's either Robin Arryn or Lysa. It's one of them's being paralleled. And she wants a dragon to protect him. So Rhaenyra's kind of pulling a fast one a little bit if you put the things between the lines or something. You know that saying, EliteAri. If you put it together, which I know you didn't. So, and then Rhaena, who doesn't have a dragon, EliteAri. Remember, Daemon hates one of his kids for not having a dragon and is always like, well, fuck you, little girl. What are you good for?
Am I remembering correctly? She's the one who was going to have Vhagar, but it was stolen? Or, like, taken from her?
She wanted to try and claim Vhagar, yes, but then Aemon got...
Well, it was her mother's, so it was like she wanted to claim it because of that.
Yeah, but you don't just get the dragon you want, EliteAri.
Well, yeah, but from her perspective, it feels like it was stolen because it was her
Yeah, that's what starts the original fight. So actually what started the war is this bitch mouthing off about Vhagar.
No, that's not true, because the kids were just being kids, okay? It all started when Daemon said the thing, air for a day or whatever.
True. Now... What was I up to? Oh, and so they're going to go to Erie, and then they're maybe going to get a boat to Pentos, EliteAri, and that was where her mother died. They made sure to say that, EliteAri, so you remembered that.
I did remember that, yeah.
No, you didn't, loser. Now...
I actually did.
And she's going to take Viserys and Aegon, so Viserys 2 and Aegon 3, EliteAri. And she's going to take them to Pentos to hide. Crazy.
Yeah, I guess earlier you said that all these characters are coming back, but my assumption was that she might just not be in the story anymore. Like, she just might be a backup that just never gets used, and maybe in the distant future we'll see her die an old death or something. But I guess she's going to come back.
What did I say that indicates that she's going to come back?
Well, you said, we're setting up all these characters to going different places, and eventually they'll come back. Yeah, I don't know, we'll see.
Well, EliteAri, did you notice the biggest Easter egg in the whole episode that came when they were all leaving and she was given some dragon eggs?
Well, I assumed that the eggs were like the 3 eggs that Daenerys found, but I looked it up and I compared images and I'm like, they don't look the same. So
they're the right colors and they're going to Pentos, which is where Daenerys gets her fucking shit.
Maybe
and
I feel like if they wanted to make
them.
that, did they mention this in the behind the scenes? Do you know?
No,
or is this just
I
like
don't
a fan
watch that
speculation?
Shit. It's obviously the fucking eggs, bro.
Well, firstly, I feel like if they wanted to make it, they should have made it more obvious. Because initially that's what I thought. And I thought, there's no way it's this subtle. And then I checked the colors, and the colors were like, they were similar, but they weren't that obvious. And I'm like, I feel like
one's goldish green, and one's red, and one's black.
And
there's also a fourth one, EliteAri, that's like blue.
True.
So that'll throw you off.
I don't know. I don't buy this. I don't buy it. But if they said it in the behind the scenes, I'll take the word for it then. But...
In the stupid Fire and Blood book, I feel there's like 3 different like setups of like, and then this dragon had 3 eggs, and somebody took them across the Narrow Sea, and then they got lost. There's one lesbian super cool girl who steals them from her gay Targaryen lover, who birthed Dreamfire, EliteAri, Helena's dragon. Pretty cool. That's not Sarah Targaryen, EliteAri. That's the cool one that becomes a whore. Yes, just like Mushoku Tensei, EliteAri, epic. Now, fuck, EliteAri, give me 3 seconds to think of this name, and if I don't figure it out, we can move on, okay? It's Rhaena, right. Dreamfire Rhaena, dummy. Anyway, she's gay and stuff. She's like got like 15 girlfriends, and then she like goes and lives with them and stuff. Anyway, it's super cool and stuff. One day we'll get a show about her. But her like sailing gay girlfriend steals like 3 dragon eggs and goes across the Narrow Sea and is never seen again. So were those Daenerys' dragons? And then there is one mention of fucking Rhaenyra doing it at some point and whatever. And we're jerking off over here because Dany's so cool. Anyway, we'll get back to Dany later, EliteAri.
Okay.
Oh, and it's also like Rhaena's boyfriend is dead. You know, she was supposed to marry Luke and stuff, so she ain't got no fucking role here, EliteAri. So that's why we can get rid of her, and she don't got a dragon. Send her away, EliteAri. She can be a mother. You know, a useless mother to these kids that aren't even hers. Or will she find a boyfriend, EliteAri? Now, wouldn't that be crazy?
What a sad story.
So there's a fourth egg, EliteAri. Is it going to hatch and is it going to be hers?
I feel like all 4 of those eggs are gonna hatch.
Oh, wouldn't that be crazy? And it's not the Danny Dragons? Crazy.
I feel like that. I'm pretty convinced it's not them, but unless they confirm it somehow, but we'll see.
I don't think they'd ever confirm. Well, they're going to fucking Pentos, EliteAri. What's Pentos has got 6 of them?
Yeah, but also do we know how long they've been in Pentos for?
I think it's implied, especially in that first book, that they haven't been there for too long. But I think that's been kind of retconned, especially in Fire and Blood. But who knows, EliteAri? We hate Daenerys, especially show Daenerys. Actually, book Daenerys is so cool, EliteAri. She's just a little girl, trying to find her way in the world. Anyway. Daemon at Harrenhal, EliteAri. It's a little tense, and we get some trailer shots. Now, EliteAri, last time I brought up how there was...
looking.
Beautiful, EliteAri. Beautiful for a trailer, you might say. So in the trailer, EliteAri, it's obviously Daemon now that I've thought about it, but he's in the rain and he's creeping around somewhere, and you're like, oh, this is crazy. But obviously I thought it was one of the twins, and that was going to be the twin fight in the rain and the dark.
Yeah, I could buy that.
I talked about that last time, so, I was just sitting here being like, what a dummy. He's got a dragon thingy on. That's Daemon's thingy. But anyway, he's sneaking around, and then he just beats up one dude, but he doesn't kill him, EliteAri, because the big famous thing about this is Daemon takes Harrenhal bloodless, or whatever. Big hot-headed Daemon somehow got Harrenhal without killing anybody. That's crazy. But they did make sure to show that he's an aggressive young man, because he punched that one dude out. He's got a concussion, EliteAri. It's not funny. That's serious. CTE and stuff.
And it was a bit of a strange... Firstly, I think this is great. This was really cool. I like Daemon sneaking around. But also... I guess I didn't understand the logistics of it, where, like, why was the castle so empty? Why were they all in that one room, and how did, like...
Well, EliteAri, allow me to explain everything, because I'm a genius.
Yep.
Now, we'll get to it in a second, EliteAri. No, let's just do it now, because I'll forget otherwise. So, EliteAri, Harrenhal is way too big. So, like, only little
they do
parts
mention that.
Have the thingy. And also, the Aegon the Conqueror, his biggest thing, EliteAri, there was an Ironborn man called Harren the Black. They mentioned him in this episode, EliteAri. He was basically ruling nearly all of Westeros. And this is right before Aegon shows up and he leaves Dragonstone to come over and fuck some shit up. And he's got this massive castle Harrenhal that was, like, finished being built the day that it gets burned down. Haha, very funny.
I know this story, yeah.
Yes, and then Aegon burns it all down. So it's all fucked up, EliteAri. And it's too big. There's water.
Okay, I buy it. You sold me on it. All right.
And also, it's not like... the big part here is, like, Daemon didn't plan this. He just left because he got mad at Rhaenyra. Obviously, he was going to go there. But he doesn't know anything about, the situation. He didn't know that the Blackwoods and the fucking idiots had already fought. He didn't know anything about Grover Tully and the fact that he can't speak or whatever, and he's an old man. He had no idea that Harrenhal wouldn't like Larys Strong. He has no idea. He just shows up on the top of the roof, gets off his dragon, and it's like, well, if there's 50,000 idiots here, I guess I'll just kill them all. And he's just running through. Yep. So I think it's definitely intentional. Like, Daemon has no idea what he's doing, and he's maybe going to learn how to actually rule. Viserys was very good at ruling, but Daemon was like, he's a little pussy last episode. But now maybe he'll understand through diplomacy what his brother was all about.
Yep.
But yeah, this was all pretty cool. Harrenhal's fucking cool, bro. Remember when Arya was at Harrenhal, EliteAri?
I do. A whole season, basically.
Shut
it was
up.
fun.
EliteAri doesn't remember anything. Tywin Lannister, EliteAri, greatest Game of Thrones character of all time. Anyway.
Yep.
Daemon bursts into EliteAri and he goes, I'm claiming Harrenhal. He sounded a little goofy. And then everybody gets up.
It appears
it was
you
so
have
great. Yeah. And then he gets up and he just kneels over. And did you notice, EliteAri? Now, obviously, I noticed because I can't wait for Alice Rivers to show up. That's the dream girl, EliteAri. She's in the room when he first spoke.
I did notice
and
her, yeah.
she doesn't bow. Crazy. What's she up
You know
to?
what I thought for a split second? I was like, oh my god, is this Anne from Black Sails? I don't know why. She kind of looked like her for a second with, like, a black wig.
Huh? You crazy, for real.
Yep.
I was thinking about Eleanor at some point in this goddamn episode watching. Because I was like, it was in Rhaenyra scenes later where she's, like, getting bullied by a council for being a girl. And I was like, when have I seen an old show where a girl just, like, bullies the dudes instead? Why isn't Rhaenyra doing it? And it's like, oh, fucking Eleanor used to do that, bro. She was so cool.
Yeah.
Anyway. And she's got, like, blonde hair and stuff. When's she getting cast? It's going to be crazy. Anyway.
That would be sick. Oh my gosh.
God, it would be.
And she's
Flint
Australian,
shows
right?
up.
Oh my god.
Wait, she's not Australian.
Isn't she?
She's British. She's got to be. She don't sound it.
I don't know. I don't know why I feel like she's Australian, but we'll never know. Doesn't matter.
The main guy's Australian, you know. Why am I forgetting his name? John Silver. What if Flint was just a character leader? This would be the craziest. This would be the greatest show of all time. Just make him one of Corlys's pirate dudes, bro. It'd be crazy. Anyway.
That would be sick.
Daemon wants to be your grace, EliteAri. He's not supposed to be that. He's supposed to be like a prince consort.
Indeed. And the guy kept messing up. It's like, my prince. If you are successful. Oh, no, sorry, when you are successful.
Yes, he was trying to like do it, and it's like, is Daemon going to freak out on somebody? Because he could. And you'd forgive him. You wouldn't forgive Aegon if he started flipping out because somebody said it wrong, but you would forgive Daemon because he's just cool and stuff. Daemon doesn't know shit about the Riverlands, doesn't have a plan for conquering Harrenhal, is just winging all of it. Get it? Because he's got a dragon, bro. He doesn't want to be poisoned, EliteAri. That was kind of funny. And then he's like barring the door with his swords. You know, he's on edge, this thingy. And then I have Harrenhal sucks for real, because it's all like fucked up and stuff. Oh, and then it's like, it's so wet here because we're the Riverlands, bro. So how did that fire start? And that's why Lord Simon Strong, EliteAri, uncle to the old dude, not brother to the old dude, and that makes Laris his great. This is not great, EliteAri. It's just grand nephew. Anyway, you're figuring out the family tree, but he don't like Laris, but he's been put in charge because Castellan's like second in charge, EliteAri. They run the castle while you're not there. Robb was made Castellan of Winterfell when Ned went south, EliteAri. You see. It all makes sense.
Yep.
And then when Robb goes south, Bran is made Castellan of Winterfell. Crazy, and he's a little boy. Remember he's like sitting there and he's listening to all these old men complain about how they need swords, and that was how Theon got in. It was he fucked everything up. Crazy. Why do the Brackens and the Blackwoods detest? Oh well, that's when I was going to bring up religion, EliteAri. But anyway, I feel like there was maybe some more to say about that. But my next note's about dreaming, EliteAri. So I don't know. That old dude was pretty cool. He had like ugly sons or something that were just sitting there with their mouths like open. That was pretty cool. He had a cool chair.
You know what he gave me? He gave me a little bit of an impression of, I guess when he first gets introduced, I'm like, is this meant to be a famous actor that I'm meant to recognize? Because it seemed like they focused on it. Or is this like a important character that I'm like meant to recognize? It felt like a little bit like, oh, we're focusing on him for some reason in a weird light.
I assume he'll be a bit of a reoccurring character, but I didn't recognize the actor.
Okay. But it was great. I liked it. He was. This was the scene in the episode where I'm like, okay, thank God the show has brought me back. I love this scene.
Yeah, 20 minutes in, EliteAri. You know, you will complain little harlot. Now we've got Alice Rivers and Dreams Leader. Her name's Alice Rivers. They haven't said that yet, but I told you. It's pretty cool.
Thank you. Well, I was actually questioning if she ever existed because no one interacted with her. We saw her in the left side of the screen or something.
True.
Damon saw her. I was like, oh, this is like a Damon vision thing. The whole time.
Even though she is a character in the books, that they still could be doing that, I think.
Yeah, I guess.
And because she's fucking American, EliteAri. It's so
weird. So cool. Also,
it was because they just did the Australian girl, which is like a thing, right? Like she does sound Australian, and like
no, she doesn't. She absolutely doesn't.
She does.
I don't know why you think that. She does not sound Australian at all. And as soon as I saw her talk, I was like, I know this is what Kyle's gonna say. For some reason, you had that talking point when she was younger. She does not sound Australian at all. You said the same thing about Silver in Black Sails, right?
That's why I just said that 3 seconds ago. He sounds 150 trillion percent Australian. He's not doing an accent at all.
His normal accent? Oh my god.
EliteAri is the dumbest person I've ever met in my life.
Okay, everyone listening right now, go look up John Silver's actor. See him speaking in the show as John Silver.
I listened to Blind Wave interview him, dickhead. He sounded the exact same.
All right, and then do the same with
Millie Alcock sounds the exact goddamn same.
All right, sure thing.
I definitely think that was an intentional part of this episode, EliteAri.
Definitely not. Guys, leave a comment. Whose side are you on here? Does it sound Australian or does it sound Game of Thronesy?
But she's breaking the fabric of reality, EliteAri, and having her have an American accent adds to that. That's crazy.
I did know that element. I completely agree. She sounded American, and it was really cool. Especially the fact that she was in a dream, and it's like, oh my god, this is like meta. It's like the story is speaking to Damien here. Damon, sorry.
Damien, my goodness, EliteAri, you'll lose.
Yeah, my apologies.
You'll lose.
Yeah,
now,
too many names. My god.
We're not talking about her cool part yet. Instead, we're going to my notes where it says, "She's here, Ari. She's here," which was my queen, Millie Alcock, showing up. You know, initially he goes into the room and it's a silver-haired lady. I'm like, are we introducing their mother? This would be interesting. Damon's going to interact with his mother and Viserys' mother. I don't think they've even mentioned her. Oh, I think Viserys' mother dies when she has Daemon.
Uh-oh.
No, because they have another one later. like
Yeah,
a
that brother
stillborn
that's
or
in
something.
in that bar, right? That he said he was the brother of the king or
No,
something.
that's he would be their uncle, I think. No,
Okay.
no, no, no.
Didn't he mention he was my brother or something, or did he say he was some other? I don't remember the
Maybe he
details. Yeah.
did. He says his
I think he's
father's
lying,
name.
right? That's the implication, but
I
maybe he might not
don't
be.
think he's lying at all, but we'll get back to that later.
Yeah.
Never mind. I nearly said a spoiler thing, and then I'm like, how?
No.
Then it was like, oh, they haven't mentioned that yet. That's crazy. These weird characters we're getting introduced to have something in common, EliteAri, but they haven't said that yet. So it's crazy. Anyway, I was so cooled out because I didn't recognize their voice at all. And then I was like, oh my god, the mother thing would be cool. Just another character, because again, the mother is a big character in Fire and Blood, at least. Because, like, we're going through this shit chronologically, so it'd be weird to, like, adapt it now, and then later in 20 years when they want to do a show about that specific period, because they've run out of periods to do shows about, we'd have to recast her, and it would be funny. Which is probably why they avoid doing any sort of flashbacks. Well, I guess they did it with Jaehaerys in the first thingy. Anyway, shut up, EliteAri. But anyway, so yeah, it was Young Rhaenyra. I was soying out. I was like, oh my god, when are they going to do it in the season? They have to do it in the season. Then I was like, maybe it's too cheap for them to do it in the season. And then they fucking did, and I bought every second of it, and I'm not going to shut up about it, EliteAri, and she better be back for more sequences. And I can't wait to see Emily... I can't remember her last name, EliteAri. Young Alicent in some sort of dream too. It's going to be epic. Who else young? All the kids suck. We don't need to see them again. Young Laenor, who cares? Just them. Just them. They just got to come back a bunch.
Viserys.
They have to do it at some point, especially if we're doing these Daemon things. Viserys is 100% coming back. They can't really justify, unless we're going to do the Daemon was actually fucking Alicent 2 thingy, which they haven't really done in the show at all. And he seduced young Alicent. Maybe. But I don't think he's going to... Oh, wait. Never mind. I think I figured it out. Shut up, EliteAri. You don't know shit. Anyway. Cool dream sequences. EliteAri, this original show full of fucking pussy showrunners, never had a goddamn dream sequence, except Danny kind of had like one at the end of season 2, but it was really lame and sourced down. And here we are, Chad fucking House of the Dragon doing dream sequences.
No, what do you...
with
Wait a
trippy shit.
minute. You're talking about the scene where she sees the ash or like
Yes,
snow
yes,
falling.
it's way
so
cooler in
sick.
the book, you know.
Yeah, it doesn't mean that it's
way
not sick in
cooler
the
and
show.
it's
Oh my
lame, and
God.
they hated doing it, and every time they did it, and they didn't want to do it, and then they added Khal Drogo in just so they could get that actor back, but he's no fucking Millie Alcock, he's just some dumb fuck Aquaman. I'm a Supergirl boy, EliteAri. I love Supergirl.
All right.
Millie Alcock's gonna play Supergirl, EliteAri. Did you know that?
Nope.
James Cameron. Wait, what's his name? The Guardians of the Galaxy dude?
I have no idea.
God, you don't know shit about anything. Anyway, cool dream sequences, it's important. It's a big moment that they're happening, EliteAri, and obviously the reveal of little Millie Alcock is also the reveal that that's happening. So you're getting your mind exploded in 17 different directions when you're sitting there about 12 hours ago watching it, as I was.
Well,
crazy.
You know, I pieced together immediately that this was... I thought it was a dream. I don't know if this is more like a vision kind of thing, but as soon as someone was trying to open Daemon's door, I was like, why would anyone possibly do this at this point?
Dream, vision, same thing, you know.
Yeah, true.
But then there's a weirwood, and it's next to the lake, EliteAri. Now, EliteAri, if you recall this at all, I will give you $1 trillion. So Harrenhal is like, shut the fuck up, let me ask the question.
I know exactly what you're going to say, go ahead.
So Harrenhal's there, and there's like something next to Harrenhal, EliteAri. What's that thing called?
The God's Eye or something?
Oh my god, I owe him $1 trillion. Now, what's in the middle of what's in the middle of the God's Eye, EliteAri?
I think there's like a big weirwood tree or something.
There's a little island full of 1 million weirwood trees or something, and there's supposed to be green people on the island, EliteAri. Hal and Reed studied with them or something, and it's
I
supposed
remember
to be,
all these theories.
It's supposed to be a massive thing that's going to get revealed at the end of the series or something, and then the show just didn't do it because it's full of fucking losers, EliteAri. And so maybe House of the Dragon is going to do it, and also, but yeah, there's like 1 million, like all the weirwood powers over there, EliteAri, and we're just so close to it. And what if Daemon swims over there and sees something, and it's going to be crazy? And is that why the visions are good? And what's this Alice girl, and she lives here, and maybe she swims over there all the time, and you know, what the fuck's going on, EliteAri? And Daemon, you will die in this place. American accent. Crazy, EliteAri. I'm freaking out.
So one thing is the reason I know this is because I was very invested in the White Walker storyline. I was reading a bunch of theories, and this was a big popular one that everyone was talking about.
They're gonna get all the way to the God's Eye, and then that's where they're gonna stop them and stuff because they're gonna use them. Oh no, that didn't happen.
Yep.
EliteAri.
The second one is a clarification, Kyle. So was this tree that Damon saw? Is this just like is this an actual tree in Harrenhal, or is this like an abstract like?
Yeah, in one of the
like...
I nearly said abstract shots, in one of the establishing shots before this sequence,
It looks like
you do
Harrenhal.
see it.
Okay.
You do see like Harrenhal in the background and that tree near the thingy.
Okay. Interesting.
And there's also like shots when Damon's walking around where there's like tree roots like growing in like the walls of Harrenhal. So I don't. That's like supposed to be part of it. Like the weirwood place is taken over, and that's why it might actually be haunted, because that's like the thing you say about Harrenhal, because it got burnt down and everybody got burned alive in the thingies. The castle's haunted.
So sad.
And no family can hold on to Harrenhal for more than a generation or something. And, it's creepy and stuff. But maybe it's actually creepy because Bran's in the fucking walls, brother.
Yep.
And Helena's doing something, and there's a weirwood in King's Landing that's not there later, and what's going on there? Anyway.
Mm-hmm.
They were seeding that last season too, EliteAri. That's funny because they mentioned dragon seeds later in the episodes, and trees grow from seeds, EliteAri. I got a 7-way pun, joke, line, and you got nothing.
Well done.
I don't know. Do you want to say anything else about the little vision, EliteAri? I was sawing out, but I can't say why.
I am invested. This is one of the interesting mysteries that I'm curious if we'll get an answer. To me, it does feel like a more end of series thing. In multiple seasons, we'll get an answer to this, but who knows? Maybe we'll get more clarification. I feel like if there was any scene so far where you could have done a very subtle hint somewhere, just like the dragon eggs, which was so subtle that I don't even believe it. You could have done some subtle hint with Bran here, but nope, nothing. So I don't think they're going to do any Bran
remember
stuff.
when I said I'm going to bring up Danny later? What if he has a talk with Emilia Clarke, EliteAri? What if she just showed up? I'd soy out, and I don't even like her.
Yeah, it's not going to happen, but that would be sick. Yeah.
Bran's much more likely, but it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
But Danny would be cool too. Have him talk to everybody. Fuck it.
Yeah, why not?
What if he talks to Rhaegar?
Yeah, why not? Rhaegar.
Let's do it.
Bring in Barristan Selmy, why not? No,
Barristan's
like the
lame
King's
and
Guard
not
or whatever.
cool. Now,
yeah,
he's definitely going to talk to Viserys. There's no way they're not going to get all the cool actors back for a victory lap.
Make him talk to Elmo Tully, why not? Get them all together.
Well, that's not going to happen in a dream, you idiot.
Yeah, but get him preface it in a dream, like when he was lucid or something.
Oh my god, it's abstracted and Elmo Tully's a little red creature with a little mouth. That would be crazy.
That would be crazy.
And he's got an American accent too.
Or like he's the face of the weirwood tree or something. Oh my god, that'd be wild. Jesus.
True, they're red.
Yeah.
I hope we get more dream thingies, okay? I'm almost certain we will.
I hope so.
Maybe even for more characters than just Daemon.
Wouldn't it be crazy if, like, what if Daemon is in, like, some dream vision thing and he meets Helena as well and she's, like, in her dream thing and they, like, meet up and it's like...
Because she's haunting her because he killed her fucking kid or something? Crazy.
Wouldn't that be crazy? Yeah.
We'll have to see. Also, Leader, we got a lot to go through and the battery ain't looking too healthy, so maybe we should speed this up and I should stop monologuing and stuff,
All right.
I thought it was going to be his mother or something, bro. I already said that. Are we going to see Danny, bro? Question mark, question mark. What about Bran? I already talked about that. Rhaenyra's council is not happy with her not doing anything. It's certainly a gendered thing. They want her to leave so they can rule. Can you believe the balls on these fellas, literally? They said, how about you go into hiding and we do shit, bitch?
I had one note about them and I said, the damn council telling Rhaenyra she needs to act. So yeah, I don't like them. Those damn
mouthing off men. We hate men. That's what I mean saying. Anyway, Rhaenys and Corlys were flirting again, EliteAri, and holding on to each other. Corlys is still not on the council, and then I remembered, we figured this out last time. He's on Driftmark, and the only reason Rhaenys, because she's flying there, EliteAri. We figured it out, okay?
Yep. Indeed.
Who is Corlys's heir? They bring it up. I feel like I tried to make you speculate about this last time, but now they brought it up for real this time. Rhaena or Joffrey? Crazy? Anyway,
yeah.
Because, EliteAri, Baela can't be it, because Baela's going to be queen.
Okay, that makes sense.
I thought it was more to do with the throne.
I just remember that there was something about the names, right? Targaryen. Some kids had the Targaryen name, and some had the Valarian name.
Joffrey Valarian. But Rhaenyra Rhaena Targaryen because of Daemon and patriarchy. We hate men. Anyway, Corlys doesn't like that they aren't shipmen. Now, if you recall, Luke Harris Velaryon, not a shipman, but they had one scene where Corlys was showing him a ship like he was going to become a shipman, EliteAri. So, but he can't do that with Joffrey right now because they're at war and he's going to the Vale.
Yep.
So he's not a hypocrite. Anyway, so cute, EliteAri. We're getting a lot of cute scenes with Rhaenys and Corlys, EliteAri. What's going on there?
It's cute.
Okay. Alicent and Helena, our one Helena scene, EliteAri, you better savor it. I feel sad about Jaehaerys, though I think I ought not. Oh my god, she's like an egalitarian or something, EliteAri. She's like, man, these small folk, when they stared at me, and she says it weird, but then she's actually having sympathy for them, EliteAri, and she's like, their kids die all the time. Who are we?
Yeah.
She's so cool. I want to be Helena when I grow up, EliteAri.
All right.
I want to be an
Sir, why did she forgive Alicent? What does that mean? I have no idea.
We're getting to that, EliteAri. The
Yeah.
next quote is, I
Right.
forgive you, and then Alicent says, what? And then I said, what for, Ari? Because I'm going to ask you a question.
Because this feels like one of those moments where I'm meant to know what it is, and obviously Alicent isn't really meant to know what it is, but she's meant to like think about like a bunch of possibilities. Like, what is she talking about? Could she be talking about this? And the immediate thing that comes to mind, which is the least likely, is, oh my god, I forgive you for sleeping with
Kristen
Damon.
Cole.
Oh, not Damon. Jesus,
Yeah.
yeah, Kristen Cole. But that seems too boring.
I
So
think
feel
it's
like
just
it
for
has
being
to
a bad mother.
Yeah, it could be that.
That scene happens in every prestige drama television show, EliteAri. In Mad Men, this happens 3 times, where a character will tell their mother, I forgive you, and then they have a heartfelt moment or something. Well, it's not usually a heartfelt moment, but the mother has a moment of reflection, and it's like a big own.
I guess the thing is, when I'm thinking, when Helena says it, like, oh, I forgive you, or whatever, I think we're meant to have something jump to mind, right? Like a particular thing that Alicent's done that's worthy of being forgiven, or not even worthy, but could be forgiven.
No, I think it's supposed to be like, what is she saying? Because even Alicent goes, what? But then I think you're supposed to think of the Kristen Cole thing, like maybe it's that.
Yeah.
And then there's obviously the deeper thing of, I forgive you for being like a bad mom. I don't see what else it could be. For starting this war, maybe, and resulting in thingy, and we're tying it into that theme. Also, it could be like a future thing or something, because she's seen something, EliteAri, you know.
Yep.
But I don't know.
I guess it could be, because I was thinking, like, if it is a future thing, they could have a scene later on where she does, like, even if Alicent leads to Helena's death or something, and after Helena's died, Alicent reflects and be like, oh my god, she forgave me back then for something that I'll do later. I'm like, oh, okay.
Like it's a heartfelt
I could understand that.
I don't know about that.
Yeah.
I think another thing we might be hinting at is like Alicent's grief here might be like her feeling sorry for herself, and maybe Helena like sees through that and is like, and this is actually like an insult, like I forgive you, and it's like supposed to be a moment where Alicent's like, why would you forgive me? This is like, what the fuck? Because I feel like there might be like Alicent is like the controlling motherly figure, but she never actually gets to know her kids or whatever, almost in like a Tywin way, which is weird. I think that's definitely part of it. I think I'm not quite getting there though. I'm missing a point. If we're doing our Alicent complete character analysis, this is definitely part of it somewhere. We'll have to see. You know, the show must go on, EliteAri. Aegon is talked out of going into battle by Larys. It's the Conqueror's armor, EliteAri. That was pretty weird.
Yeah, that was sick. Loved it. Oh my god.
Kind of lame.
I have his crown, I have his something else, and I have his armor. So,
I have his name, I have his crown, and now
name,
I wear
that's
his
right.
armor.
Yep.
Aegon almost upholds the Kingsguard vows, EliteAri. I bet you clenched your butt cheeks and went, this is the Joffrey moment, this is crazy. Because he even makes his boyfriends go, ooh, like that.
Yep. I liked it.
It was pretty cool.
He didn't snap though, and later on I don't even know, were they the same guys who were at the wherever
Brothel,
he went later?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. That's cool.
So then we get the Dragon Seeds barkeep introduction at the brothel. They finally said Dragon Seeds, EliteAri. You're going to be hearing that a lot.
Excellent.
More sexism, because one of the dudes he's with slaps the serving lady on the bum, EliteAri, and she's like, obviously not cool with that.
She's not happy.
And she's like,
yeah.
These bitches got to learn how to have some fun. Because, you know, that's sexism and stuff, and we hate men. And there's a Dornishman there that they're making a deal with or something. Now, EliteAri, is Dorne part of the Seven Kingdoms yet? Of course not. It's not the Seven Kingdoms yet. Wait, I think Dorne isn't... I always fuck this up, EliteAri, because there's 8 kingdoms, and it's fucking stupid. It's because the Riverlands don't count, or some shit. And, like, maybe they already call it the 7 kingdoms, and then Dawn is the 8th one. I can't fucking remember, EliteAri. But it's not for, like, 50 years that Dawn becomes a thing. So a Dornishman being here. Now, EliteAri, they also mentioned that Kristen Cole's a Dornishman, but he's, like, a white man Dornishman who's, like, on the border, but in the Westerosi side. So, you know, that explains that, EliteAri. I know you had many questions. But, So this Dornishman wouldn't like him when he reveals, I'm actually a Targaryen, bro. And he thinks he's, like, flexing, but he obviously doesn't understand. I don't think we're ever going to get any follow-up. I don't know. This Dornishman kind of looked like he had a dress-up. Maybe he's going to be a recurring character. Because, you know, if we get Dawn characters in here somewhere, how EliteAri, you know, brown people, and we fulfill our quotas, you know, they woked it up, you know?
Well, we had Dornish people in the original show, so...
We did, but that's when they were all part of a thingy. But anyway, so that was kind of like, there's like dramatic irony there a little bit. But also he's like, and Rhaenyra is the real bitch, and fuck this loser. And then he comes in and he starts bowing. So that was pretty funny, huh?
Yeah, so I was confident that this was going to be the scene where Laris has finally found the people spreading the rumors that Rhaenyra is like important here, and Aegon's going, and they're going to go kill Aemon because he's weak, or Alicent's going to take over, and blah, blah, blah. But nope, completely unrelated.
Well, maybe next time. But also, battery's going flat, so we've got to speed through this. Oh, wait, this is nearly the end. Never mind. But let's maintain a brief pace. So, EliteAri, we're going through the thingy. There's the biggest, fakest dildo you've ever seen getting sucked on, EliteAri. Did you notice that?
I don't remember that, no.
It was very big, and then the girl was actually, like, mouthing on it, like fellatio, EliteAri. But then, like, she took it off the head, and you could see it, like, shining and stuff, and like, it looked kind of white, but not in skin color thingy. I was like, that's a dildo, silly. They didn't even get a real porn guy to stand there. But that penis was very long, EliteAri. I don't know, I noticed it. Anyway, that was the first one. That, oh, and this is very funny on Twitter. People are posting, you know, the Pikachu gif where the big penis is over its, like, face. It's not a gif. It's
the shadow or whatever, yeah.
The shadow, yeah. It was like, this episode out of context. And it was like the old scepter from the original show, the Pikachu picture. I don't know, and some dragon shit or something. Anyway, very funny, chat, very funny. Then he finds Aemon there cuddling EliteAri, and Aemon tries to play it off all cool. And then we see Aemon's dick too.
Yeah, we did, yeah.
He tries to walk off all cool like he doesn't even care about this bitch.
That is true. But it was a very awkward scene. Just opening up and Daemon's there. Jeez, I'm mixing up so many names.
And Aegon's really laughing at him.
Aemon's there. Yeah.
What a meanie.
He's drunk. Yeah. Aemon's not going to be happy with him going forward, I don't think.
Well, he's done a lot of this stuff to him before.
Yeah. But now it's personal. Because it's this lady, this old woman that he loves. Crazy.
I feel like we're just going to pretend it didn't happen next episode. But you could be right. I could be wrong here. Because this, like, dynamic isn't fleshed out at all in these fucking books, EliteAri. These two idiots. But, so I don't know everything, EliteAri.
So, Kyle, let me just say, just the premise of this, where they're taking around this random squire, it was weird. Came out of nowhere, I was confused. I'm like, who is this? Why does it look like Jace? Like, why is this
like the bro,
I had no idea.
We're gonna take you to a strip club, brother. And then they slap him on the back and they try to peer pressure him into everything. I've seen this happen a million times, EliteAri.
Yeah, it took me out of it. It actually didn't take me out of it, as in, like, oh my god, I was just confused. That's what took me out of it. Yeah, but you know what? I think I figured it out by the end. It's a squire.
I think it's definitely part of the, like, the sexism thing again. It's like these fucking boys just being terrible, and like they're pressuring this guy who clearly doesn't want to do it into doing it, and then he's gonna end up being like them because Aegon did this with Aemon, which was a big plot point at the beginning or whatever. Especially when Aemon was like super young and stuff, and yeah. All that stuff. No good, EliteAri. No good. Boys will be boys, and that's when we gotta kill them all. Anyway. Oh my god, last up point, EliteAri. Rhaenyra and Alicent meeting, the greatest scene of the history of life. Now, EliteAri, obviously this is not in the book at all, EliteAri, because remember, this relationship doesn't exist in the book at all, and it's the best thing in this fucking show.
It is, yeah.
I thought, EliteAri, so I'm going through the motions with this fucking shit. We're bringing up another, like, Alicent sent her a letter thing. I'm like, where are we going with this, EliteAri? And then Rhaenyra's like, can I go to King's Landing? And I'm like, ain't no way, EliteAri. Because if you remember, it was just last episode where I was like, a lot of these cool character interactions that we really want to see aren't going to be allowed to happen. I think I brought up the example of, like, Rhaenyra and Kristen Cole should probably never see each other. Now, EliteAri, I'm fucking living life, and I'm like, man, next episode, Kristen Cole and Rhaenyra are gonna have a secret meeting, and they're gonna have a character interaction, and it's gonna be so sick. So anything's possible now, Leary. This is great. This is the greatest thing that's ever happened for meta reasons and for literal reasons. So I'm like, and then they start talking about it, and it's nearly the end of the episode, and I'm like, ain't no way, bro. We're just setting up for next week, and then she's gonna get like caught trying to sneak out or something, and they're gonna take her back, and the council's gonna be mad at her or something. And then they just fucking did it the same episode. 3 seconds later, they're in Kings, and I'm fucking hopping EliteAri. This is the craziest shit of my life. Not as much as Millie Alcock, my favorite, but it was pretty close second. And then I thought it was set up for the next episode, and then it just fucking happened, bro. Of course, it's in the church, bro. Immediately when she's like, "There's one place Alicent goes alone," I was like, "It's the church, EliteAri." Remember, like in episode 2 when they held hands in the church, the season 1.
Yeah, I had a bunch of ideas, and I was like, I don't know what the hell is like in the common areas and what is in like the palace. So I was thinking like, oh, the dragon pit, like, oh, we got that where she lights the candles. We got
candles.
Yeah, I guess it ended up being the candles, but yeah, I had a bunch
we
of
did
ideas
establish in season 1 that Daemon knew a bunch of like hidden passageways and stuff, so that's a possibility. That could have been a possibility too.
No, but we can't use them anymore because the event with the kid's head been chopped off. They're probably all.
Well, they don't even know them. Like nobody knows them except for Daemon.
Well, I'm sure Laris probably has found out stuff about it. I would assume.
True, Varys did know a lot of them, but he didn't know all of them because when King Maegor the Cruel, EliteAri, he built the Red Keep and then he killed everyone that built it. So he would know the secret passages. And then he died when his Kingsguard killed him or something because he was really mean and evil and cruel. So then they died with him, and now only you know some of them. And the rat catchers might know some of them, EliteAri, because you understand. Anyway.
Well, they're all dead.
True, but new rat catchers will learn them because they got to catch rats. Stupid.
Yeah, but where are they learning from?
And then remember one time Arya goes into it and sees a dragon and then spies on Varys and Illyrio talking.
I do remember that.
But what question did you ask that I wanted to do my cool Arya fact over?
I don't remember.
True.
I have no idea.
So it was the church. Great tension in getting there. We're hyping you up. They've done this like 7 times in this season, EliteAri, where it's like we're going somewhere and it's tense. We had Blood and Cheese. We had Daemon and Harrenhal. We had the twin last episode. Then we got this. It's their specialty, EliteAri. It's crazy and it's sick.
I think of all of them, this was the one where I was on the edge of my seat.
True.
Not for her getting discovered.
This is fucking crazy,
not necessarily.
EliteAri. What the fuck is this bitch doing?
Yeah, I truly thought this is going to be like a complete miss. Like, she's going to go try get her. She's never going to get the chance and she's going to have to leave. Like, they're never going to interact with Alicent.
Because even for me, EliteAri, I know she can't get caught there. So that tension's... But still, I was like, what the fuck is... What? Now, because I even have a note here, because I feel like all book people are going to be like, House of the Dragon just jumped the shark, brother. How the fuck did this happen? Preston's going to be mad, EliteAri. Maybe not.
Yeah.
Anyway... Because I'm even coping in my messages here. I'm going, is this stupid? Maybe, but it's worth it for the scene. Because I want to see Alicent and Rhaenyra talk, and there's no fucking way you could do this any other way. And also, I even thought it was kind of stupid in episode 1 when Daemon got in there without looking. But even then, you can use that stupid moment as precedent, which they did do in the episode to justify it. They were like, well, Daemon snuck in there, so why can't I? And it's like, genius. And then they're like, nobody notices a nun girl because men only notice things they want to fuck or other dudes. And oh my god, sexism. And the greatest show of all time. Anyway. Now, EliteAri, the greatest thing of all time is when they get in there and you're seeing a bunch of Septons in a long shot. Septors, EliteAri. Septons are boys. And you're like, which one is it? And then one annoyingly gets into frame and Alicent's like slightly annoyed. And then you're like, oh my god, is it her? And then she gets closer and she's just like lingering there. And she's like, oh my god, Alicent, look, it's her. Look. And the tension is crazy, EliteAri, when they notice each other. And then they do notice each other and the tension's even crazier. She's like, gets a knife. Like, Alicent does this thing where she looks, she sees the knife, she freaks out. Then she looks up and sees Rhaenyra and she does another freak out face. And oh my god, EliteAri, this is the greatest moment of my entire whole life.
I agree. One of the best scenes this it is probably the best scene this season. Loved it.
But I love Daemon and Rhaenyra arguing, EliteAri.
I know you did, and I didn't. But so this is much better.
Anyway.
But this is, it's interesting. It's like, oh my god, we've now done everything we can in regard to talking to each other. So what happens now?
EliteAri, I have 3,000 quotes to read before we get to the concluding point.
Go ahead.
Notices a knife and notices Rhaenyra. Great initial back and forth about whether or not Alicent screams. And they're playing this, the way they wrote this scene, EliteAri, was like, almost like a comedy scene where like they're supposed to laugh at some point. Where it's like, and what if I scream? well, then those guys will find me and I'll be dead or whatever. And then she's like, there's supposed to be like a moment where they realize the ridiculousness of it and like giggle at each other. But it never came. And it was like crazy and stuff.
I think it came. I think it happened when Rhaenyra realized that this is dumb or whatever. She's like, what am I doing? I've made
I
a
have
mistake
begun
or whatever.
something, she says. I've
Yeah.
begun badly. I remembered the alliteration.
Yeah, I think that was the payoff.
But yeah, it was just like, because like they should have that dynamic leader. They love each other. They're best friends, but also they're gonna kill each other.
Yep.
They both want to talk, so nobody screams or anything crazy. Oh, the greatest piece of acting I've ever seen in my life, EliteAri, is when Rhaenyra says the line, "The day my brother was born," but she goes to say the day my brother died, and it's like the most subtle thing I've ever heard in my life, because she hesitates, and she does make a slight D sound, but it's not like an overdramatic, "the day my brother was born." It was like the quickest thing of all time, and I was like, this is the greatest acting I've ever seen in my fucking life. I had to write that down. And then they both agreed that men are dumb, true, we hate men, and want to fight for blood and glory, and that's retarded. So you remember Vinland Saga, and you were Jockey Bacon jumping down my throat? Well, House of the Dragon's backing me up, bitch. Now, so you've come to surrender then was funny, because it's also another misdirect where you're like, oh, this is like where the negotiation here falls apart, because Alicent's going to be, well, if you truly care about saving everybody, you're going to surrender. And obviously Rhaenyra can't do that, so they're at an impasse. But that's just a one-moment little brief thing, and we've got a half a conversation still left. Greatest show of all time, subverting my expectations through lines of dialogue 17 times. They both say they didn't do the bad things. I didn't do blood and cheese. I didn't kill Luke, they say to each other. And they both believe each other pretty quickly because they love each other. And because they're both good people, EliteAri. They talk about usurping Viserys and Viserys' last moments. And for a second, Rhaenyra believes Viserys would tell Alicent about the Song of Ice and Fire. That was the coolest moment, EliteAri. Because she like totally buys that this dumb idiot Viserys loves this girl enough. As much as she loves me, so she would tell him the super duper ooper secret. Oh, do you think she's told Jace yet, EliteAri? I bet she hasn't.
No.
Which was cute, I said. Alicent winning her over. Oh my god, EliteAri, they played this so realistically. Remember last time where I was like going on about how somebody was lying realistically and getting caught or something? I can't remember. But they did it so well here where it's like Alicent at no point seems like she's lying when she reiterates Viserys changed her mind. And it's like the most obvious, like, it sounds so stupid. And like Alicent's been getting it from everybody when nobody believes her on this point. But she like reiterates it, and by like the third time, Rhaenyra like absolutely believes her, and you're like, oh, they love each other, true. Oh, this is the greatest thing ever. And then, because eventually she says, on the memory of my mother, and remember Alicent's mother had just died in the first episode, and they were like, and Rhaenyra was like helping her with that, and then when Rhaenyra was sad about her little brother dying. See, I just did it again, EliteAri. Well, battery's going flat, EliteAri. We gotta do it anyway. The memory of her mother, they bonded over that. Do you think I'm capable of such naked deceit? Alicent asked, and then I was like, oh no, every actor in this moment is gonna scream, yes, bitch, you can, evil green bitch. It's gonna be great, EliteAri. What did he say at the end? Did he speak my name? Oh yeah, Rhaenyra just wants to know if her daddy was thinking about her when she died. And then the Princess Promise thing, and then it's great because Rhaenyra realizes that what happened. Like, that Viserys was actually talking about a thing. And then Alicent realizes, like, afterwards. And then she stutters while saying the Conqueror, and she realizes it. But then Alicent says that it really doesn't matter and that it's completely out of her control now, and it's completely out of Rhaenyra's control, and that they, even if they do decide to love each other, which they still do, they can't stop the war. And this is where the war must begin, EliteAri. And there's, like, a lady singing in the background of the OST. Oh, it was a great thing.
And then you like hover over your mouse and you look at the title of the episode, The Burning Mill, and it all ties together. It's perfect. We love it.
That's because the battle was the Battle of the Burning Mill. What's about the burning?
Yeah, because the battle had to do with the fact that we don't know what started it, because they've always just hated each other for all of time. And it ties in with the ending bit here with them just being like, well, it's too bad. We can't do anything. This has been started long before our conversation. So it all ties together into a nice, complete episode that I like.
Lame, you know. All right, EliteAri, you have to do final thoughts because we're going to go fucking flat soon. Tell me
final thoughts. I'm on the edge of my seat. I guess Alicent has now been portrayed as the villain because she's the one who chose not to go for peace. So
she couldn't, EliteAri. She couldn't.
What do you mean she couldn't? She could try, right? She didn't even try. So
she's been trying the whole time.
Unambiguously, she is now the antagonist of my viewing of this story. We'll see if that changes next episode, depending on what happens.
My queen.
I think it's pretty clear that she is the one who was offered to at least consider peace, and she did not consider it. So here we are.
She did consider it. She said, I want to, but I can't.
Yeah. So and then Rhaenyra's like, you should try it, and she's like, no, I can't.
But there
Like,
is
okay,
no
if you
trying.
can't, Rhaenyra was trying. I mean, what do you mean there's no trying? Of course you can try, right? You can do something. I don't
What's
know.
she gonna do? Go and kill Aegon?
You could at least consider it, for a little bit. You can be like, you know what, Rhaenyra?
There's
I'll
no
think about
possible
it,
thing she
okay?
could possibly do, EliteAri.
If she got a letter, if she got that initial letter to Rhaenyra, okay, she sent it to her, and Rhaenyra received it, and that's what caused this conversation. She could be like, Rhaenyra, give me some time, okay? Some big revelations. Let me just think about it. I'll send another letter.
There's nothing to think about, EliteAri. She can't do anything.
And that's what portrays her as a villain, or an antagonist here, because she thinks that she can't do anything. Rhaenyra thinks she can. Rhaenyra's the hopeful one.
No, Rhaenyra doesn't think she can either now.
Well then, okay, so I don't know enough about the details of the order here. Okay, maybe. I'll rewatch it, but that wasn't my impression. My impression was that this was Rhaenyra trying to extend her hand to be
So do you think Rhaenyra ends the scene like disappointed in Alicent?
Yes, and I think the audience also does too.
No, I don't think so. Now, there's no spoiler here because, again, this relationship is entirely show, so I don't have some genius level. By genius, I mean I don't just know what happens. So.
Yes.
But there ain't no way. They're just like, we do love each other, but we can't do nothing, and that's so sad.
Yeah, I could see that.
So I won him over that.
Anyway, great scene. We love it. No, you didn't win me over. I'm going to rewatch the scene. I'll watch it through the blind wave reaction. We'll see what they say.
None of them have uploaded yet, EliteAri. They're a bunch of pussy-ass bitches.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I think that's it. We have to rush through the end because, laptops are only so durable. Their batteries, that is. We'll be back next week. So excited. It's probably going to be a big one next week, EliteAri. Somebody's going to fucking...
Yeah, the battle for Harrenhal, I'm sure.
It's going to be a battle. It's not going to be Harrenhal, but that's okay.